prince fired an arrow into the sky and wished for a beautiful bride. When the arrow finally landed, it vanished into a lonely swamp. Waiting beside it was a frog. The choice seemed like a cruel joke. Yet that frog would prove wiser than kings, stronger than sorcerers, and more patient than the prince who loved her. This is Simple Tales. Long ago, a Tsar decided it was time for his 3 sons to marry. To let fate choose their brides, he ordered each prince to shoot an arrow into the sky. "Where your arrow falls," he declared, "there you shall find your future wife." The eldest prince's arrow landed beside the home of a nobleman's daughter. The second prince's arrow landed near a wealthy merchant's house. Prince Ivan watched his own arrow soar beyond fields, beyond roads, beyond villages. It disappeared into distant marshland. Reluctantly, Ivan followed. The reeds whispered in the wind. Mist drifted over still water. Mud pulled at his boots. At last, he found his arrow resting beside a small green frog. The creature sat quietly, holding the shaft between its tiny feet. Ivan stared. The frog stared back. His brothers laughed when he returned. The court laughed. Servants whispered behind their hands. Yet the Tsar's command could not be ignored, and so Prince Ivan married the frog. Days passed. Then the Tsar announced a challenge. "I wish to know the skill of my daughters-in-law," he said. "By tomorrow morning, each must bake a loaf worthy of the royal table." Ivan returned home miserable. "How can a frog bake bread fit for a king?" The frog listened calmly. "Do not worry, Prince Ivan," she said. "Sleep. Everything will be ready by morning." That night he heard strange sounds. Soft whispers drifted through the house. Faint music floated beneath the door. A pale golden glow shimmered across the floorboards. When dawn arrived, a magnificent loaf sat waiting. Its crust gleamed like polished gold. Patterns of towers, birds, rivers, and wheat fields decorated its surface. The Tsar examined each loaf. The others were acceptable. Ivan's was extraordinary. The frog had won. Soon another challenge followed. Each wife must weave a carpet worthy of the royal court. Again, Ivan worried. Again, the frog smiled. As darkness settled, mysterious lights danced behind closed doors. When morning came, a masterpiece lay unfolded before him. The carpet displayed forests, mountains, cities, and distant seas, so beautifully woven that visitors felt they were gazing through a window into another world. The Tsar praised it above all others. Still unsatisfied, he announced a final test. A grand feast would be held. Each daughter-in-law must attend in person. This challenge troubled Ivan most of all. How could he bring a frog to the royal banquet? Yet his strange wife remained calm. "Go ahead without me," she said. When you hear thunder, do not be afraid." The feast began. Musicians played. Nobles laughed. Golden cups passed from hand to hand. Then thunder rolled across a clear sky. The hall fell silent. A magnificent carriage drawn by white horses arrived at the palace. From it stepped a woman of astonishing grace and beauty. She moved like moonlight upon water. No one recognized her except the frog, for she was the frog. She was Vasilisa the Wise. At the feast, she outshone everyone present. When she danced, the entire hall seemed enchanted. The wives of Ivan's brothers tried to imitate her elegance. Each attempt ended in embarrassment. Laughter filled the palace. The Tsar was delighted. And for the first time, Ivan saw beyond appearances. The humble frog, everyone mocked, possessed wisdom far beyond any noble at court. That night, while the celebration continued, Ivan slipped away. At home, he found the frog skin she had shed. He stared at it for a long time. Memories returned. The laughter, the whispers, the shame he had carried since the day he found her in the swamp. Then another thought appeared. If the skin were gone, perhaps she would remain human forever. Perhaps she would never have to hide again. Perhaps they could finally live openly and happily. He told himself he was helping her. He told himself he was ending her suffering. Yet deep inside was another desire. A desire to be free of the frog forever. His hand trembled. For a moment he hesitated. Then he threw the skin into the fire. Flames consumed it. Ashes drifted upward. For a brief moment he felt relief. Then Vasilisa returned. The instant she saw the ashes, sorrow filled her face. Not anger. Not rage. Only sorrow. "Oh, Ivan," she whispered, "you were only a little while from freeing me completely. Had you waited a little longer, the spell would have ended on its own." The prince felt his victory turn instantly into regret. "You have chosen for me before destiny had finished its work." Tears glimmered in her eyes. "Now I must go where the spell still binds me." Before he could stop her, she transformed into a grey bird. With a cry that seemed to carry all the sadness in the world, she vanished into the night. Only a few feathers remained. Ivan stood alone beside the dying fire. The next morning, he left the palace. He crossed forests where sunlight barely touched the ground. He walked over mountains buried in snow. He followed roads that disappeared into mist. His boots wore thin. His staff cracked. Many nights he slept beneath roots and branches with only the stars above him. Yet he never turned back. He searched not because he wanted adventure. He searched because he finally understood what impatience had cost him. Along the road, he encountered creatures in need. A bear threatened by hunters. A duck trapped among reeds. a hare caught beneath fallen branches, a great fish stranded on a muddy bank. Each time he chose mercy. Each time the creature promised to remember. Months became years. At last he reached the hut of Baba Yaga. The strange house stood upon enormous chicken legs. It turned slowly among ancient trees. Its windows glowed like watchful eyes. Inside sat the old sorceress herself. She listened in silence as Ivan told his story. At last her sharp gaze softened. "You seek Vasilisa," she said. "She is held by Koschei the Deathless." Even speaking the name seemed to darken the room. Koschei's soul could not be found within his body. It was hidden inside a needle. The needle rested inside an egg. The egg lay inside a duck. The duck was hidden within a hare. The hare was locked inside a chest. And a chest was buried beneath an ancient oak on a distant island. The task seemed impossible. Yet every kindness Ivan had shown now returned to him. The bear uprooted the mighty oak. The hare caught the fleeing hare. The duck pursued the escaping duck through the sky. The fish recovered the fallen egg from the depths of the sea. One act of kindness led to another. One good deed unlocked the next. Until at last Ivan held the egg in his hands. Inside rested the needle. Inside the needle lay Koschei's life itself. Far away, the dark sorcerer suddenly trembled. For the first time in ages, he felt fear. Ivan snapped the needle. Koschei's power shattered instantly. His castles crumbled. His enchantments broke. His prisoners were freed. And Vasilisa was free at last. When they met again, neither was the same person. Ivan had learned patience. Vasilisa had seen how far he would travel to correct his mistake. Together they returned home. No frog skin remained. No spell remained. Only the bond they had earned through loss, forgiveness, and understanding. The story of the frog princess reminds us that wisdom often arrives wearing an unexpected face. What seems ordinary may hide something extraordinary. What seems burdensome may become a blessing. And some gifts cannot be rushed. They reveal themselves only to those patient enough to wait. Thank you for joining this simple tale. If you enjoyed this story, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who loves myths, legends, and forgotten tales from around the world. Until the next one,